everyone. Welcome to day 9 of our daily creative challenge. It's good to have you here. Kita was just wondering what I'm wearing, and I don't know, an invisibility cloak. It's really good to see you all. Like I said, this is day 9 of our daily creative challenge, and I'm pretty sad. I don't want to leave you all after this goes away. It's gonna be a sad time. My arms are getting tired, so I'm gonna drop this. Really good to see you. Say what's up in the chat. And maybe we can get the chat monitor going so I can say what's up as well. Good to see you. If we check out the Daily Creative Challenge site, if you go to be.net/Daily Creative Challenge and you are registered, you will be able to see that today's challenge is make an animated GIF. Now, before we even jump in, I want to get this out of the way. I'm going to say GIF a lot in the next couple minutes, the next end of the session. If you say GIF, I still want to be your friend. It's okay. I'm not offended. What's up, Sean, Timothy? Nice, now I can see all of you. You're a floating head. Yes, Leanne. I was, and it was a special experience. Oh, Stevie, I'll miss you too. Why did I mask myself out? Because now my skills are over 9,000 in Photoshop and I can mask my entire body out. I've reached nirvana. It's amazing. Roman, I think it is technically GIF, but I still say GIF because it's America and I'm allowed. I still got an invisible shoulder. Oh no, the masking has not worn off. I'm still practicing. If you want to continue hanging out with us after the challenge ends, please come hang out with us on Discord. Let me get it open. It's a beautiful, vibrant community that we have going on over there where you can chat, you can post your work for design feedback, you can ask questions. And actually, Jonah posted a really cool tutorial on here today because someone asked a question and another community member took it upon himself to help out. So thank you, Jonah, and hope you're feeling better, by the way. We say GIF, not GIF in the UK. Good to know, Adam. Good to know. You can post in tips and tricks. Tim has been posting tutorials every day. And it looks like Victoria also did as well. Super cool. So the link for that is bit.ly/PSDiscord with a capital P and a capital S. I feel like I match pretty well with this background today, especially this sleeve. It's my Discord sleeve. Adolfo says, I need an Adobe subscription. Have you gotten your trial yet, Adolfo? If not, try that out. It's great. What's up, Ahmed? Since this is our last day of the challenge, we will do one last beverage check. I have an iced latte with oat milk. Best day of my life. PSA to Adobe friends, yes, we have oat milk again. Did you know? Did you know? They don't care. Oh, Lee's excited. Okay, cool. So I'm going to show you 2 different techniques, I guess, for making an animated GIF in Photoshop. It's incredibly easy to make an animation or a motion graphic in Photoshop, and I think it feels a little intimidating to people sometimes because they don't consider themselves animators, so how can I make an animation? I will show you. It's literally 4 clicks of your mouse, and it is animated. Oh, someone's drinking tea. Adam, that makes sense. You are in the UK. Nice, Stevie. Leanne is chowing down. Ooh, what are you having, Leanne? Empty coffee cup. Oh no, Leslie. Go fill it up. We'll still be here. It's not going to take forever, I promise, Kita. I promise. So we're going to be animating these characters, and I'm also going to be showing you some animation on our level up logos. Do you remember when we did this last week? It seems like years ago. So our glitch logo we're going to bring into motion. We're going to be animating our characters, and it's going to be super easy. So if you have questions while I am working, feel free to ask them in the chat, and I'll try to answer it, or other community members will do the same. And let's just jump on in and get started. Oh, before that, I also want to say that this stream's going to be a little bit longer today to give us a little bit of room at the end to do more feedback. So I'm going to be looking at the entries on Behance and looking at the projects as a whole so far. So I'm really excited about that. All right, so let's get started. First, let me just show you the technique super simply. I'm just going to open a random new document in Photoshop. It can be tiny, 3 inches by 3 inches, 72 ppi, that'll work. all we're gonna do is we're gonna make a new layer, and I am going to say, thanks. Let's size it down quite a bit. That's entirely too big. Hello. There we go. Another text layer, 4, and another text layer, watching. If you'll notice on Behance, a lot of people have little animations at the bottom of their projects that say, thanks for watching. So I'm gonna show you how to do that super quickly. One key tenet of making a GIF is for different aspects that you want to move, they need to be on their own layer so that you can turn them on and off independently. So we have thanks for watching, and we're gonna jump into our animation timeline. So I'm gonna go up to Window and down to Timeline. It's that easy. You can also make this appear by changing your workspaces and going to Motion, and that should make motion-related panels appear. So you have your libraries, your histogram, and best of all, your animation timeline at the bottom. Cool. Everybody with me? Hope so. I'm gonna get rid of this panel. We don't need our library. Drag it back out just a little bit. Okay. So frame animation, it's really similar if you've ever made a little flip book with a pad of Post-its. Each frame is going to be a different image, and we're going to be able to toggle back and forth between them to create motion. So the first frame we're going to make is just going to say thanks. So over here in my layer panel, I'm going to turn off watching, and 4, it's just going to say thanks. And we're going to click Create Frame Animation. Before you do that, you can click this down arrow, and you could also use a timeline, which will look like this. This is maybe a little bit more like After Effects or Premiere if you're used to that, but we're gonna be just using the frame animation today. So let's close that. Oops. Where you at, timeline? We want to set back to timeline frame. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Bottom left, frame animation, perfect. So you'll notice when I go back to frame animation, we already have one little frame and it says, thanks. Now we're gonna make a new frame. This is kind of the universal icon for new, not Finder. So this little icon, you're gonna click that. It's gonna make frame number 2, and in frame number 2, we're just gonna turn off thanks and add 4, or you can keep thanks on as well. And we're gonna make a new frame, add watching. There you go. You'll notice you can also see the duration of each frame. So it's set to 5 seconds. That's a little bit too long to wait between the frames. So I'm selecting them all by holding Shift and clicking one side to the other, dropping down this menu, and let's do like 0.2 seconds. That seems pretty safe. And we're just gonna press play and see what happens. Pretty cool. I have it set to forever, so this will just keep looping forever and ever and ever. And that feels maybe a little bit fast, so let's select them all. Drop it down. Let's go to half a second. Cool. I like it. The leading is bugging me. Okay, Jason, let me fix it. Yeah, you're right. We're gonna drop watching down just a little bit. So the leading is the space between lines of text. And that's a good call. All right, let's check it one more time. Cool. So let's get this exported. I'll show you how to get a GIF out of Photoshop, which is kind of one of the most difficult parts. How do we get this motion out into the world where we can use it on websites or in our portfolios? What's up, Maria? We're gonna go up to File, Export. This is important. File, Export, and Save for Web. And it will bring up this menu for us. One of the most important parts is we need to make sure that our output is a GIF. So you could have JPEG, you could have PNG, but a GIF is gonna have that motion element to it. So we need to make sure that is selected. From here, if you have a very highly detailed illustration with a bunch of colors, you can change how many colors you want. We'll see that later. But for now, this works since we only have 2 colors. I'll even drop it down to 4 because it's just yellow and it's just white. And before we even save it, we can preview it on a web browser to see how fast it's actually going to work. In Photoshop, it usually goes a little bit slower than it will actually appear in real life. So let's preview it by clicking this preview button. And you can choose what kind of browser you want to preview it in. I'm just going to click preview. Cool. Works for me. Yes, I set it to loop forever. You can set it to loop for as many times as you want, but this is what you'll usually see online. They will just continue to be animated until you refresh it. Can you make a GIF from a video? You can. It's kind of difficult in Photoshop because you need to somehow grab all of the frames from the video and then animate them. I think maybe perhaps other programs would be a better bet for that. So we like the preview. Instead of clicking done, we're going to click save because that's actually going to save our image. So let's say thanks for watching .gif. Save it, and then let's look at it in our Finder to make sure it's still working. What's up, Mohammed? Hello, Siobhan. Good to see you. Alrighty. Where's day 9? Hello? Can I not count? Oh, there it is. It's hiding. And if I press space, that's going to preview it. Cool. So we're going to use that at the end of my Behance project, just as a little final detail. Really easy. We're going to continue using this workflow of just adding frames and changing the layers that are turned on and off for our other 2 examples. So the first one we're going to do is work on messing up our glitch logo, not messing it up, but kind of altering it so it actually looks like it's in motion and it's being glitched around. So I have my glitch logo, and I've just copied the same layer a couple different times, but I've titled it so that I know what I'm gonna change in each of these layers. So this top one, I'm gonna add a wave effect to it. This one, I'm gonna change the blending mode. This one, I'm actually gonna move the glitches further. And this is my original. So let's work through that. So we're on the to glitch layer, and I'm just going to use my marquee tool, rectangular marquee. I'm gonna grab a couple sections of this, and I'm just gonna pull them even further than they are. You'll notice that I still have my black background and that the glitch layer is its own layer. So when I pull it, no transparent pixels show through on the other side. What's up, Leslie? Ooh, David, you're a 39-year-old printer. Very cool. Glad that you're here learning some digital techniques. Let's really glitch this out. Maybe grab a really skinny little section, pull it that way. Cool, it's unreadable, but that's okay because it's gonna flash so quickly that it'll be good. Okay. So now let's change our blend mode of this one. The first thing I want to do is I want to move it over a little bit so that it's overlaying the original version a bit. And then when we change our blend modes, it's going to offer an interesting look. Like that. So that is exclusion. That looks pretty glitched up. Let's do difference. Awesome. And then our wave effect, do you remember from the first day when we did this, you select a piece. I'm gonna select a pretty large piece. I'm gonna go up to filter, distort, and then wave. And you can see a little bit of a preview right here of what it's gonna do. But you can even pull it further. Play around with this, it's pretty fun. Awesome, I like that. Hey, Catherine. Sydney, hello. So file import video frames to layers will separate the video into separate frames. Thank you, Sydney. That's awesome. It works well for small videos. If you try to import a whole scene from a movie, that's gonna be a lot, a lot of frames. But if you have like a little clip from a video you want to turn into a meme, like just a second or two, that could work well. So let's work on animating this. We have our original. I'm gonna make a new frame at the bottom, as you see. Maybe I can scoot over to the right side of the screen so you can see. Perfect. And in my second frame, I'm gonna turn off my original and turn on my glitch. Now between my glitch and the next one, I'm gonna add the original back in by making a third frame and just turning original back on, so it goes from normal to glitched back to normal before another effect takes place. Let's make a new layer, turn on the 2 blend, and also keep the original turned on. All right, new layer, turn off to blend, keep the original, and then one more final layer where we turn on the wave. So if we set this timing maybe to like 0.1 and press play, that's pretty cool. That looks like a real glitch, right? And all we did was make copies of the original, change them a little bit, and intersperse them in between frames of the original. So once again, we start with the original, and the next frame, we add one of our affected versions, next frame back to original, next frame affected version, next frame back to original, last frame another affected version. Some people might be tempted to add another frame of the original at the end because you want to kind of complete the cycle, but don't forget that right after this version, it's going to go straight back to the original. I'm glad you like it, Kevin. David, I'm glad that you're here. It's giftable. What sorcery is this? I know, Kelvin. I told you at the end of these 2 weeks, your Photoshop skills are going to be over 9,000. And someone was wondering earlier what that was referring to. It's from a manga or anime called Dragon Ball. They say the power levels are over 9,000, and it's quite accurate in this situation. Cool. So we're going to do the same thing. Maybe we're going to even crop this down a little bit to get this exported as a little bit of a animation. Press play, make sure it still looks good. Crop it even more, perfect. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing that we did before, file, export, save for web, very important. That is the menu that's gonna allow you to export as a GIF. And here I have the colors set to 4. You can play with this since there are a couple more colors in this option, but 4 seems to still have the same quality, so it's good. Ryan says, I did a similar one for a project called Broken Beauty. Oh nice, is it on your Behance? Stevie says, this all makes me so happy. I'm glad. Super cool. Let's preview this. Make sure it looks good. Ooh, it's in black and white. Let's see why it might be doing that. Let's see, we have 4 colors. Selective. We don't want grayscale. Cool. Monitor color, great. I'm not sure why it was previewing in grayscale, but let's go ahead and save it. And actually, before we're gonna save it, we're gonna make sure that our image size is pretty small. We don't want a huge GIF because that can run pretty slowly on a browser. So I would say the max width or height, whatever one's the biggest, the max you wanna go is just a couple hundred pixels. You don't wanna get it too big. Let's just say like 400 for now. Save it, and that looked actually pretty cool in black and white, so I'm not too mad at it. So glitch GIF, say that 10 times fast. What's Osama? Hello, good to see you. Chad, hi. Thanks for joining us this entire week, these entire 2 weeks. It's awesome. Okay, so we have our glitch exported. Now we're gonna work on our final little workflow, which will be animating characters. So you should still have this file from yesterday, and if you don't, you can check out the announcements tab from the Discord and download it if you still need it. But these are the characters that we were puppet warping yesterday. And I have condensed all the characters onto one layer, and it says stand, and they're in their original position. And in another layer, I've condensed all of the puppet warped versions of them into one layer, and that's called jump. So we're gonna make a little animation where they're standing and then they're gonna jump and land again. They're gonna show tweening. I'm not gonna show tweening today. Just some simple frame by frame, probably just 2 frames. But that's really interesting. Maybe we can touch on that on a next challenge or possibly in the Discord. Alrighty, so let's make sure that we have our timelines open. And we have our original frame, let's say 0.5 seconds, perfect. Make a new frame. Put that there, and we know how this works. It's just gonna go back and forth. They're jumping for joy. It's amazing. But instead of just keeping it at that, let's make this a little more complicated in a very subtle way. We're gonna add a little bit of text. So we are going to say, what should they say? Level up, perhaps? That's kind of the phrase of the game. Level up. Let's change it around a little bit. Perfect. Now we don't want just level up to just turn on with the monsters jumping. We're gonna make this a little more complicated, so we're gonna have them jumping once, make another frame where they're on the ground again, one more frame where they're in the air, and this time we're gonna turn on level up. So they're gonna jump once, and then the next time they jump, you're gonna see level up. So that's gonna give the illusion that this animation is a lot longer, and it's kind of delightful for the user. It's a little surprise. Cool. There you go. So like I said, animation is really, really simple in Photoshop. It's just a couple clicks of the mouse, turning on some layers, making some frames, and then knowing how to export it. That's all it really takes. Let's get this exported. This is going to be a good example of one that we're going to want to make pretty small because there are so many colors. We don't want this to totally bog down whatever website it's going to be on. So let's make this maybe 600. Just gonna be a little one. Let's preview it. It's so fun. Kita says, ooh, I got a great idea. I'm excited to hear what it is. What are you gonna do? Ashi, hello. Ryan says, I just noticed that Big Yella has a high heel. That's a great name. Like Old Yeller, Big Yella. Ryan says, I sometimes get baffled at the time it's taken to animate a traditional sense, onion peel it. Yeah, animating actually frame by frame, like by hand, takes forever, but it's really meditative. It's actually one of my favorite things to do if I just have some free time. All right, let's save this. Jump for joy.gif. And let's check out all of these animations that we've made. We've made 3 different animations in like 15 minutes, and that was with instruction from me. Let's do it, March, day 9. So here is glitch GIF, and it exported in color, so that's good. They're all pretty small, but that's fine. We got jump for joy. And we got thanks for watching. Okay, let's get these on to Behance. Do you have any of your frame animations on Behance? Let me check. And I think you might be asking me that because you know I do, but let's make sure. Profile. Cool, so I actually did some animations for a podcast that I really like called Lore, and this was for Inktober, I think, 3 years ago in 2016. So every day of October, which did not happen, I was gonna make an animation based on an episode. So this is the kind of animation that I like to do. It's hand-drawn, different frames that are just turned on and kind of alternated back and forth. This one, the Bloody Pit. My favorite little detail of this is this little crow who opens his little beak. And this is a good example of what I was talking about before, where there's kind of this main repetitive motion of the tunnel changing texture, but then interspersed in between, the crow opens its mouth. But it's not just opening it over and over again. You wait a few frames, open it, close it, and then let it return. This one was cool. This one was fun to draw. Got to look at a lot of scary teeth as reference. Yes, Paco, you're totally right. We got 30 minutes left. So don't go anywhere. This one was fun too. This little guy peeking out. So spooky. And you'll find this technique pretty familiar. The way that I do a lot of my illustrations is I use the polygonal lasso tool and fill it with texture like we did when we were adding texture to our posters. And then I will use textured brushes, like the ones that I showed you how to get, the Mega Pack from Kyle Webster, or other brushes to add this kind of really traditional texture to it. And so I got 4 days in. 4 days into that project. But it works, you know? I actually made this animation with Voodoo Val, if you know her, from Moderation, and also she's just an amazing digital artist, an awesome Adobe Live family member. So during a Twitch stream a couple years ago, we were working on crossovers. So we were crossing over Pan's Labyrinth and Princess Mononoke. Any other animations on here? Is this animated? No. I think it was at one point, but I don't know if I have the file anymore. You love Victoria Steamer's neon text. I remember that project challenge we did and it was super fun. Yeah, she's an amazing composite artist. Yay, Kita loves Voodoo. Me too. Should go check out her streams. All right, enough about me. Let's get these projects up on Behance. Oh, Wade knows Val for sure. Stevie says, I can't wait to animate all my characters. I gotta see that, Stevie. Make sure you post updates. So we have our puppet warp from day 8. Let's upload our new animations. Glitchy glitch, jump for joy. Perfect, and we're actually gonna do this in a photo grid. Remember when we did this with the poster day? So you can put 2 images next to each other by using the photo grid in the project editor. Glitchy glitch and jump for joy next to each other. I know her! Whoa, that's a lot to look at and I love it. Yeah, we need to get the strobe light going. I'm actually really impressed by how that glitch turned out. And then finally, we're gonna put day 9, the final day. GIF animation. And after all of that, let's add our thanks for watching GIF. This is a beautiful little detail that just adds a tiny bit of extra something something for your viewers. They know that you really put thought into your project. We're gonna save. I'm gonna make sure in my settings that I have PS Daily Challenge in my keywords. And if you don't, please add it because I'm about to look through some submissions and just take a peek and give some feedback. And this is the only way that I can know that you're part of the PS Daily Challenge is with this keyword. So save. Let's check it out. I feel like we need pomp and circumstance playing in the background. We're all graduating from our PS Daily Challenge. Day 1, if you remember, was just a simple invite. We were working on really, really simple things, just layers in Photoshop, understanding how layers work. So we had a text layer, we had an image layer, we had a frame layer, a background layer, and realizing how those affect each other when they're changed in order. The next day was our futuristic postcard. I think this is really when people came into their own and they started exploring compositing, mixing images together to make this kind of cool sci-fi surreal effect. Oh, Timothy, it's good to have you. So this was mine, just working with blending modes. Finally, we did our glitch effect, not animated, just the regular effect for our video game logo. And this carried over into the next couple of days of projects where we worked on our social media banner composite, so using our logo from the day before, and then finding images, compositing them together, and making them feel cohesive, like a real image. And then the next day we worked on actually mocking up our social media banner. So we got our images mocked up on social media, and then we mocked that up onto some sort of device and did some photo retouching as well. Remember, there was a phone here that we used content aware fill to get rid of. Finally, we started working on smart filters and smart layers using the path blur tool. The next day we added some texture to the same piece of work. And I feel like this is where people really learned a lot about hierarchy and when to add texture and when not to, when you're just doing it to just do it, and when it's actually gonna affect your work for the better. So that was really cool. And then just yesterday we learned about puppet warp. So we had these really static characters in a cave and they weren't really telling much of a story. And at the end of the day, we kind of got a little bit of a peek into their personalities just by changing their positions with puppet warp. Super simple. Culminating all in this, where we animated our logos, we animated our characters, and we made a little thank you gif for everyone who was watching. Kelvin says, I was caught up with work and never got the chance to really blend with you guys here. Kelvin, you should just stick around in the Discord channel. Yes, and the good news is, I'll sneak peek this, we will be back on April 1st with another PS challenge. It is not an April Fool's joke, I promise. Someone will be here live, working through it with you all. It's gonna be amazing. So stick with the Discord channel and just stay updated. It's gonna be great. All right, so let's look through a couple submissions that you all have. I'm just gonna be looking at the search results I get when I search PS Daily Challenge, and I make sure that it is sorted by most recent. I see Jonas just got updated. That's awesome. And I will also say I'll be doing more audio feedback today at 11, so in about 2 hours. If you're working on your animation and you want to post it in the Discord design feedback channel, between now and then, I'll get on at 11 and work on some feedback then. So for now, I'm just going to be giving feedback for entire projects on Behance, but at 11, we can talk about your animations. Yay! Adrian, I'm so glad that you were here and you enjoyed it. Right now, I'm just scrolling down, taking a sippy, just enjoying all of the amazing work you've done. If you haven't done this, if you haven't just looked through all of the submissions, you should. Give some comments, give some feedback. I'm just scrolling forever. I thought I'd be at the end by now. I am highly impressed. I think we're getting towards the bottom. Okay, yes, these are from the previous challenge. Cool. So I'm looking for thumbnails that I haven't really seen before. I don't think I've seen this one from Sam. Or this one from James. This is interesting, from Cheryl. I remember yesterday Valdair did this cool Abbey Road, my big head's in the way, Abbey Road version of the characters. You need an easy button at your desk that's just an applause track. When you get that, send me one too. Let's see, this is interesting from Natan. Just gonna open a couple and start working through them. I love seeing a little bit of illustration work. I see a cat dabbing, so I'll definitely open that. Okay, let's work through these. So this is by Sam, and I don't think I've seen Sam really in the chat, so I'm excited. Whoa, scary. This is Betrayal Game Night. Is this talking about Betrayal of House on the Hill? That's my favorite board game. So maybe that's why I like this so much. Nice job with your party invite. Wish you were here. Cool neon effect and blending modes here. Working on the Level Up logo and taking it a little bit of a different direction, so being less transparent, more opaque, and making it look like it's actually standing out. Ooh, a little bit of photo compositing. I love this color scheme. It's really interesting, kind of these pastel-y but earthy greens and corals. Nice, and then you change the composition but use the same assets to make your social media banner. That is some agility right there. Mocked it up. Nice, Sam. So day 1 through 5 so far, I have total confidence that you can get through day 9 by the end of the weekend. Shambi was the dabbing cat. Got you. All right, James, this is really interesting. Level up and fly. I love the combination of this more kind of bright and happy illustration mixed with this cool, glitchy, grungy effect. I notice in both of these pieces so far, you really love color. So do I. Cool. Fortnite, Minecraft, GTA 5, Overwatch, all the best games. I think this is my favorite one so far of your work, James. The composition is well balanced. You have a really obvious header, that's where our eyes should go immediately, followed by this secondary copy and then a design element that doesn't take too much of our attention away, but it definitely fits with everything. No kids, no pets. I get it, James, okay. Nice job. All right, on to the next. This is by Cheryl. You're invited to game night. Don't get crushed. I love these really happy illustrations mixed with this subversive text. It's awesome. So is this like Candy Crush or maybe Candyland? Cool. I don't think that you really need these halftone patterns in the background or on top. Your composition is already pretty nice and it's flowing well with all of the diagonal lines and the rounded edges. So I think you could probably get rid of that. Cool. I'd like to see the type on this be more different in value than the background. When I squint my eyes, the Have a Great Day starts to kind of blend in with the purple because they're both pretty dark. So I would say either really darken the text or bump it up in brightness, or do that with the background, really darken it or really brighten it. It's good to see you all also giving feedback in the chat, making me a proud Photoshop mom. I love this color scheme. I love how there's no transparency. It feels very clean, well designed. And these little sprinkles feel like they are sporadic and random, which is good. It's hard to place things randomly. It's hard to do it on purpose. Nice. Cool, is this me? That's definitely me. I remember being here. Nice job. All right, Natan. Sweet effect on game night. I'm wondering how you did this. Did you make a stroke around your letters and then just continue the lines over? Really interesting, great color palette too. Another example of using a graphic element to not really distract from the design, but just to add to it. I feel like this controller could probably be bigger because I feel like this area right here is pretty empty. Ooh, Roman, you're gonna animate your poster? Very cool. Anna, there will be a challenge for Adobe XD, I believe, starting next week. And then right after that, we're gonna do Photoshop again. You have a very like neon clean style, Natan. This is awesome. All right, this is by Asya. I think we've looked at this one before. I recognize this postcard. Ooh, a nice use of kind of a more retro font with very futuristic backgrounds. Nice, I love that. Cool, cool, cool. Great use of the path blur here. And a great use of the subtle graphic elements to guide the eye around and not be distracting. This is what I wanted to look at. I wanted to see these little illustrations. I'm wondering if you did these illustrations or if you found them somewhere. They're super cute, and ice skating figures is like the perfect example of why you would use Puppet Warp. Actually, in the official Puppet Warp tutorial, I think for Illustrator, I used an ice skating figure to illustrate how it could be used. That's really funny. All right, let's look at a couple more. Wow, this is interesting. So Manas was showing the entire process, which is really great way to show future employers or people that are going to work with you how you think. I know a lot of times people ask, what should I have in my portfolio if I'm trying to get a creative design job or illustration job? And a lot of times people want to see process. They want to see how you think, what kind of notes you take, what's your sketchbook look like. Not saying your sketchbook has to be pristine, but if you show like your thumbnails and then iterations from those thumbnails, it's always good. Oh, and it's Pac-Man? Oh my gosh. This little subtle detail, so funny. That's just delightful. You always want to delight your viewers. And then you added a very cool halftone texture on top of everything. Give it a real retro effect. So you can see different effects taking place throughout the entire thing. It says, P.S. This is my first project ever uploaded to Behance. Welcome! Thanks, Manas. Alright, this is Shambi. Amre. Looking forward to the next one. Cool. I'm glad that you discovered us either way, even if it was too late for this challenge. Dabbing Cat is happy to have you here. Shambi. I'm interested to see what the original character looked like. Were the arms stretched out like this and you just puppet warped them to dab on us? Dab on the haters? Alright, let's zoom down. Cool. I think, is the path warp different on these two? No, I think they're the same. It feels a little too blurry, I feel like, on these legs and on the arms and on the ponytail. I would like to see at least one side of the limb in focus, like the top side or the bottom side, depending on how, if she's rising or if she's falling. So if she's falling, the top sides would still be blurry, and if she's rising, it would be the bottom sides that are blurry. It just feels a little bit like you just blurred every single limb. So I'd like to see that touched up a little bit. Very cool. Ooh, awesome composite. Nice. VR game night. Whiskey Tango Bar. I remember Shambi posted this and everyone was really interested to know where you got this illustration because it was very futuristic. Nicely done. This is by Anel. Oh, sweet Anel. Learn how to use layers as a pro. Cool, let's look at your work. I see you using that polygonal lasso tool. One of my very favorites. What's up, Eric? Good to see ya. Maybe a focal blur? Yeah, Timothy, it's a good idea. Wish you were here. Ooh, really cool textures. We're using the scribble brush from Kyle Webster. That's what that looks like. I'm having a little bit of a value issue when I look at this lettering, and maybe it's just because there's so many textures going on. The black versus the white of this kind of fishnet or chain link texture immediately grabs my attention because that's where the most contrast is in this entire piece. The highest contrast you can have is black versus white, and you have it right here. So it might be beneficial if you were to either change the color of this fishnetty texture to match another color in the design, or just make it white but maybe like a little bit gray, who knows. But if you do that, the text will appear much more obviously. It's a really interesting textured piece. It almost looks like a collage, which I'm a big fan of. Ooh, nice. This level up glitch effect really looks like it's kind of moving up and down. It looks like it got caught in the middle of motion. So dynamic. My chat disappeared, oh no. All right, let's check this composite. Interesting. Sorry, oh, okay. I thought the stream was dead in the water. We're still here though, we're good. Let's see. So I love the color palette of this. It's all very cool and blue. I do notice a little bit of quality issue just in these background images, especially compared to how sharp and in contrast and clarified the model is. Like her details are super duper sharp, especially with this little detail right here. And then you compare it to all of the other assets and they're a little bit blurry. So be careful to keep the assets in similar quality ranges.
Kathleen, let them know we're still live on YouTube.
Cool, and we are still live on YouTube. If you want to chat, make sure you come over to the Creative Cloud YouTube channel and click on the live video. Sorry about that, y'all, keeping you on your toes. Since we're doing this longer stream today, it was just too overpowered. Alrighty. Ooh, I love the use of the gnarly font with this illustration, especially this living coral color. Color of the year, Pantone. Nice, the coral mixed with the blue kind of shadows and highlights. Great color combination. All right, let's open a couple more. Let's see, there was one that really grabbed my attention. Oh, this one by Katie. I just really was interested in this color palette. So Katie has this cool, seemingly PlayStation related game invite. This looks very on brand for PlayStation or Sony, so nice job. And it even looks like these shapes are hand drawn. Cool, I love that slight illustrated feel to a more clean graphic style. Keeping up with that cool periwinkle blue theme. And I love seeing these little hand-drawn lines on top of the photographs. Great. Oh, a nice mock-up. Hey, we love a good mock-up. Katie, did you know that we were going to be working on mock-ups later in the week? So this color palette, this kind of seafoam green mixed with this light sandy coral or seashell, oh, so good. Speaks to my heart. And it's an interesting take on the glitch, which is usually just black versus like an aqua or a cyan and a red, cyan. So nice, you kind of toned it down a little bit. And I'm totally confident in you, Katie, you can get more challenges done. I know it. All right, this is by Graphic Designer. Ooh, the one and only. This is the futuristic postcard. Let's open it up a little bit. Wow. The blending modes in this are done really, really well. I love how the text is the first thing that you see. It has really high contrast and it is clean. But you toned it back a little bit, either with changing the opacity or the blending mode, where you can see a little bit of the texture of the watercolor coming through, and it really ties everything together. It doesn't make it seem like it's just stuck on there. It looks really integrated. These little added pieces of this kind of network up here in the top right and top or bottom left. Nice detail, it's not too heavy-handed. Cool. I think I'd like to see maybe the white in this helmet skewing more towards a blue, kind of like how these network lines are more blue, because this is really the only place you see stark white. Nice job, and I think that's your first challenge for PS Daily Challenge. Let's see if you have any more uploaded. Not yet, but you will. I'm confident in you. Let's look at just a couple more. And I will remind you all that I'm going to be live again, just with my voice, on the design feedback channel. So if you post your work from the animated GIF in the next 2 hours, it doesn't have to be done. It could be a work in progress, and then I'll give you feedback to help you finish. Post your works in progress, and I'm going to go through the entire design feedback feed from 9 to 11, get as many done as I can, and just keep the party going. Let's open that one, this one. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's check that out. This one too. I remember seeing this, JD. I love this design. It looks like a real poster that you might see hanging up in a bar, inviting people for game night. Good hierarchy, very obvious where I should look first, and these little additional assets are nice. These little planes feel a little bit, I know they're supposed to feel like they're popping off the paper, but they're a little distracting because they have this drop shadow. I'm not sure if you need that. It's not really found anywhere else. Cool, this is Kathleen using similar assets that I use, but making it her own with these cool little design motifs. You laid out the text way better than I did. Nice job. Change your life today. Wow, what an interesting typeface. The level of graphic illustration in this is really well informed and matches well with itself. So there isn't more detail in anything than anywhere else. You see the stars aren't super detailed and neither are the mountains. The only thing that stands out a little bit is the blurriness of these kind of shafts of light. But other than that, it seems pretty cohesive. Nice job using kind of a grid texture on this level up. Cool color theme, color palette, and using all of these smart ellipses, and using masking to make it look like it's going in front and behind her. Very cool. Oh, and then all of your images. Nice. Love seeing process. This can also make it really impressive for a viewer to see like, whoa, how did they use all of these images to make this one single one? And they can try and pick out where each little thing is. Nice job. So this is by Kathleen, and I know that you can get done by the end of the weekend. I'm confident in you. All right, Celeste, game night, Cards Against Humanity, one of my favorite board games. You know where and when. Do I? So mysterious. And the design of this is very mysterious. It's kind of stark, almost film noir-esque. Nice job with this kind of highly saturated grain texture. Welcome to the future. I really dig this illustration. My only critique is to the kind of looks like one word. You might want to add a little bit more space here, although I understand that the kerning of all the letters is pretty spaced out. So maybe add just some space in the middle between the two words. Nice job, Celeste. Oh, this is well laid out. This is by Pat Luck. Photoshop Daily Challenge. Build your Photoshop skills in just 9 challenges. This is a great example of laying out your project in a really intentional way to make it easy for your viewer to understand what they're looking at, giving them a little background information so that they can look at your work through a specific kind of scope. Wish you weren't. Anti-RFID chip campaign. Whoa. That's dark and interesting. Super gritty. Nice. You took the glitch effect that I showed you all and kind of made it your own. Oh, cool. This is almost like a portal through time and space. Nice. Then you mock it up. Woo! These are also fantastical. Really interesting. Nice job. All right, y'all. I think that's all I can go through on Behance for now. But just one more reminder that I'm going to be on Discord looking through the design feedback channel for the things that were posted from 9 to 11 today. So about 20 minutes ago to 11, which is about in an hour and a half. I'm also going to be recording my screen and posting that later so that if you do miss getting feedback on your work, you can always come back and watch it later. I'm excited to see these. So remember, if you're posting your work for day 9, don't worry if it's done. Just post your works in progress, and hopefully I can help you with any questions that you have. If you have a specific question for feedback, include that when you upload your work. Oh, I can't believe it's been 2 weeks with you all. Such a great group of people. If you want to come join the party on Discord, please feel free to do that. bit.ly/P Discord. We're going to be hanging out here. And as a reminder, we are starting another Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge on April 1st. So in about 2 weeks, not too long. I think you can all hold on until then. Really excited to keep chatting with you in Discord. And I will talk to you again at 11. Great job these last 2 weeks. Really proud of you. Level up. Oh, bye.